Hi, this is Kathy from Craft with Kathy. Thanks for joining me. I apologize. I know I'm a little late. I ran into something that whatever. I'll tell you a little bit about it in a second. I'm coming at you from the suburbs west of Chicago. And I want to give you a little bit of information about tonight's project. It's called This Home Believes. And I guess I'll share a little bit of why I'm late and whatever. But please say hello, drop me a line, let me know where you're viewing from. Don't be shy, just jump right in. Everybody's friends here. Just comment, let me know what you're thinking, your ideas, suggestions are always welcome. I want to tell you a little bit about my entry into Chalk Couture. It was rather unexpected on my part. As some of you know, I am caregiver for my mom, and I don't have a medical or healthcare background at all. I basically am an IT person, or was an IT person, still am to a certain degree, but I'm not. Time constraints has an impact on that. But anyway, and I took over the care of my mom after she had a stroke. And because I knew, as strong-willed as my mom is, that her only really way of surviving would be not to be in a skilled nursing facility. She wouldn't tolerate it, and I knew that from things in the past. But anyway, so I took this on, and not knowing how she would recover, because it was a very severe hemorrhagic stroke, and the doctors were very skeptical and not real positive initially. And so I didn't know. I did know that her one doctor had said that we wouldn't really have an idea of the damage for about 6 months, because it would take about that long for the blood from the bleed to dissipate. So she came home, and we set up a hospital bed in the living room and brought a twin bed in there for me so I could sleep within a couple feet of her and monitor her and whatever else. And then it began the long process of therapy and everything, which was wonderful. And she worked hard, and I told her I'd be right there with her, and we were in this together and whatever, and that she just needed to do her best, which she did, and she did very well. She regained the ability to speak, which she had lost, and I knew that was most important to her because she's always been very sociable. And then, of course, we obviously worked on occupational therapy for her arms and her hands, because she kind of lost the use of her right arm and hand for a while, and still somewhat neglects it now. She kind of forgets. And then, physical therapy for general strength and standing and transferring and stuff like that. But anyway, long story short is I really had no idea how much time it was going to require of me on a normal daily basis. And when she first came home, she was only 72 pounds, and we had put in a feeding tube because they had drugged her to do that MRI to make sure there was no pressure on the brain. But she was so tiny that she wouldn't wake up for like a week. So they weren't feeding her. They were keeping her hydrated, but they weren't giving her any nourishment. So she was dropping pounds like crazy. Hi, Deb, how you doing? Anyway, with all that said, I really didn't know what I was getting into. I have no regrets. It was definitely the best decision. I think the most important thing I've ever taken on in my life. However, what I realized is, I think I'm getting pixelated here. Let me know if you could see me clearly. I'm not moving anything, so I don't know what's going on this end. But in reality, I was somewhat isolated, and the feeding tube process initially took like almost 6 hours a day, and then I called her doctor, and he ordered a drip for her and whatever, and that helped a lot, but still it was a lot more than I ever expected. So yeah, I'm kind of fuzzy. I'm going to keep talking. Okay, it looks like it cleared up on this end. Hopefully it'll clear up for you. Let me know if it doesn't in about a minute. So anyway, somewhat isolated, very tired, scared, running scared most of the time, very happy when she was making progress. When she learned a new word, it would be wonderful. We'd celebrate, but the next day she might not remember it. It's just kind of the way things are after a stroke. It takes a while to rewire the brain, and the brain's power of neuroplasticity is absolutely amazing. I learned a lot, but long story short, what I'm trying to get to is I was pretty isolated and definitely tired and just, I don't want to say depressed, but maybe depressed a little bit. It was just, I was ragged and tired and whatever. And I stumbled into Couture and I saw a video and I said, did I understand that right? I can erase this and do it over and over again, and these transfers are reusable, and this is on chalkboard, so if I make a mistake I could erase it, and they're beautiful, and I was totally taken by it, and knew quite quickly I wanted to do this, so I kind of jumped right in, and it has provided me with a respite from my normal day and the challenges that I face every day. It has given me a creative outlet, and in so many ways brightened my life. Between the contacts and the friends that I've made and the things that I get to do, it just has been an absolutely wonderful experience. And I was reading someone right before I was getting ready to go live, I was reading somebody's post, and they were kind of telling a similar story, obviously not being caregiver, but they had some other personal issues, and that just kind of made me tear up, and I thought, you know what, maybe I should share my story, because it has truly made a difference in my life. So with all that said, let's get on with tonight's project. This is going to be done with a transfer called This Home Believes, and I'm going to do it on the 6x18 double-sided frame. One side is the natural wood, or not the natural wood, the stained wood, and it's recessed, and the other is whitewashed, and I'm going to do it on the whitewashed side. So let me take this transfer out of its little packaging and cut it apart, and we'll get on started. Hey, okay, it's clear. Very good. It's good to know. Sorry, Deb, I wasn't ignoring you. I was just kind of right in the middle of that, and it was like, if I stopped, I'd lose my train of thought, and I was probably rambling anyway. You could tell I had the sniffles before I started. It was just, you know, it kind of flashed back on all that and whatever. But all in all, it's been good. Mom's done great. She's made a lot of progress, and it was definitely the right move. So our transfers are made out of vinyl, which is the teal portion, and silkscreen, which is, you're seeing through the silkscreen into the white backer behind it. They are adhesive back, so they're reusable 8 to 12 times or more. So I'm going to cut this apart on the cut line using my transfer scissors, which have an extra long blade and like a Teflon coating so that the adhesive doesn't gum up the blades. Now I obviously, because of the size of this transfer, it's 12 by 18, I can't fit it fully on this board, so I'm going to only use part of it, and we'll see how that goes. No, my company left. For better or for worse, I don't really know what to... He had to get back to work, so I totally understand it. Okay, I'm thinking that I could fit the word believe on here. I was going to just do believe instead of believes. I'll just do believe. And I won't be able to get all of the string, but basically I'm going to do believe, and then I'm going to add the ornaments, or the bells. They're actually bells. I was thinking ornaments. So before I do that, because this is wood, I'm going to wax my surface. And yes, we've got fly in this house. My little brother was in and out. He'd go out the front door and the back door, running back and forth across the street and doing the work over there. It was kind of craziness, and he ended up letting a fly in. But I've got one of those faucets with the little eye, so when the fly flew in front of the faucet and just turned the faucet on, so that's what you hear running in the background. I'm just applying the paste, the finishing wax, not paste, with a paper towel. I'm going to rub it in and then just rub it off. And I use wax on my wood surfaces for two reasons. First of all, I always use it on non-chalk couture wood surfaces. And pretty much the chalk couture wood surfaces also, even though they're very nice quality. But I use it so that if there's a splinter or some peeling paint or anything like that, there's no chance when I wax it of it peeling up on the back of my transfer. Because our transfers are reusable, we want to keep that back sticky and we don't want to damage it from anything. So that's why I wax, one reason. Yeah, you do hear the water reading. I know you want the gold shimmer, and I've got it out here. I was going to do the strings in a silver shimmer. Anyway, the faucet turns itself off after 4 minutes, and I thought that's a good idea, because twice in the past, many years ago, my mom had been doing something at the sink, probably loading it up to do dishes or something, and got a phone call or something else, walked away from it and left it running, and I don't know what happened, but one time it overflowed and was actually dripping down the basement stairs when my brother noticed it. So I said, I like the idea of the eye, so that if I have something on both hands, like if I'm making cookies or something like that, or pie crust, I don't have to touch the faucet to turn it on, and then it'll shut itself off after 4 minutes. So that's what you're hearing running in the background. It must have just flipped. Okay, there it went off. I thought it had stopped before. Okay, so here's my gold. I want to check. I know I've got one gold that's getting a little thick, and I wonder if this is it. Oh yeah, that's too hard to use. Okay, I knew one of them I had left the cap off of, and I have a feeling I'm going to have to use my Shimmer Harvest instead of my regular gold. But I think that will be fine, because it looks like pretty much gold. So I'll do that. I'll do the strings in the silver shimmer, and then I'm going to do the wording in my Mind Blanked Shimmer Crimson. This is a beautiful sparkly little red. So let me cover up my paste. And I want to fuzz this. So let me put my frame on a side and get my fuzzing cloth out here. Okay. So I'm going to pull off the backer. Like I said, the transfers are adhesive. You can see the shiny side of the transfer. The adhesive side is shiny, and the carrier sheet has a glossy side, which goes against the sticky side of the transfer, and a dull side. You always want to make sure the glossy side goes against the adhesive side of the transfer. That way you make sure the transfer doesn't stick to anything else. So I'm putting it on this fuzzing cloth, which is terry on one side and the other side is a microfiber, so that I could deliberately apply some lint to diminish the adhesiveness of this transfer. And boy, this is sticking very strongly here. And the reason we do that is we don't want it to stick so strongly on our surface that it's difficult to pull up. And our transfers can be used on wood, metal, chalkboard, dry erase board, ceramics, glass, mirror, fabric. canvas. So anytime you're putting in something very smooth like our premium chalkboards or mirror or glass or metal, you want to fuzz it quite well so that it's not a battle lifting it back off of that surface. Because if you pull it, especially on the diagonal, you could potentially stretch it and distort it. So just a little bit of care up front removes any of those issues. Hi Kathy, how you doing? So I'm going to move this a little bit in from the left. I don't want it right up against the border. I have a couple strings here from the silk screen that I need to cut off. Let me just cut these off. It kind of bothers me. Not quite straight. Let me move this up a teeny bit. Okay. I'm going to smooth this down, making sure there's no air bubbles underneath it. And I'm going to do this in the Shimmer Crimson. Get this right down to the edge here. It's a little bit of a problem there. The letter B isn't totally lined up, so it appears like it's not straight, but it is. Based upon my overlap here, it looks like it's fine. How you doing, Kathy? How you doing, Deb? I'm sorry, I don't even know if I asked you. I might have, when I was babbling, missed that. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. I'm going to thin this down. It's a little bit too thick, so I'm adding a little bit of distilled water. You always want to use distilled water because you don't want to chance any minerals in your water mixing with the pigments in the chalk paste, because our paste is made from chalk. It truly is chalk paste. Okay, you want it to be kind of whippy and smooth. I'm going to add just a little bit more water. I'm bad. Sometimes I leave my covers off and things dry out a little bit, but it's easily fixed. If it's too thin, if you add too much water, you don't want it drippy. You want it very soft and kind of between yogurt and sour cream. And I know when you're doing layers, you want it a little bit thinner than normal. But if it's too thin, then you basically just add, you keep the cover off until it dries a little bit and it'll thicken up. Okay, I'm just pushing this down to make sure that I've got this right up to the corner for when I get the silk screen. There we go. I'm hearing something crackle here, which sounds like an air bubble. I'm not sure if I missed something. I'm not sure where it would be. It just sounded like it crackled a little bit. Want to make sure I get the silk screen all covered. Kind of scooping up the excess in areas and just pulling it on down to the rest of the transfer. Then I'll go back once everything's covered and make sure I've got everything covered again, but also remove any lines that I might have. Okay, not a whole lot of excess here, which is fine. hope I don't have an air bubble on that B. Okay, I'm putting the excess back into the jar, and I'm going to remove this from the board. Always lift from the top, the bottom, the left, or the right. Never pull diagonally, because then you could stretch it. So I'm going to lift this slowly, looking at it to make sure that I've got good coverage here. And this is a distressed font, so it's not supposed to look perfect. But I thought the shimmer crimson would look very nice and dramatic on that white background. And I think it does. This frame is very solid, very heavy duty. There are no hooks to hang it because it's double-sided, so basically put your 2 nails up, and whichever side you're showing, just flip it and the ledge will hold it in place. So that's kind of nice. I like things like that where I don't have to fiddle around with putting hangers on the back of my frames. It's beautiful, isn't it? Oh, I was going to only say believe. Should I take off the S? Because the top lettering was "This house believes." Should I take off the S or leave it? I think I'm going to take it off. Grab some paper towel. I wasn't thinking. I actually had my transfer tape out here to cover it, and then I forgot. So let me real quick remove this, and hopefully it doesn't bleed. Kind of the reason behind, one of the reasons behind the waxing also. Okay. Okay, so let me put the crimson away. So I was thinking silver string and gold bells. Here's for the silver, and I'm going to use the Harvest shimmer for the bells. And we'll move them. It'll be a little bit short. I mean, I can't do the full string here, but it'll be fine. And I'll just move it a little bit further down to the bottom there. So I think that'll look good. I don't know where I've got paste on myself. Okay, let me move this aside. Let it dry for a moment while I take that off the backer and fuzz it. Thank you. Yep, I've got Mom watching Monk in the living room. For some reason, she really likes that show, which it was funny because when I suggested it to her, she had never watched it years ago, and I thought, I don't know if she'll like it or not, but she does. I think she likes what he struggles with and the character a lot. So then, of course, I had to turn around to, no, I don't have the holly, but that would have been a good idea. I could always add it. I turned around to Mrs. Maisel, where, oh my goodness, my mind's blanking on his name. So he plays the father of the main character in Mrs. Maisel. Tony Shalhoub. I don't have the bow ribbon either. I actually wasn't planning on doing Christmas tonight. I was waiting on a delivery from FedEx that was supposed to be here today with our trick-or-treat kit, and that's what I had in mind. And about 6 o'clock I got a text saying that it's been delayed. I don't know exactly where it is, someplace in the city of Chicago or something, but It's been delayed, so it's not going to be delivered tonight. Okay, just want to make sure there are no air bubbles underneath. Whenever you have a large amount, expansive silkscreen, you want to make sure it's very smooth. And that looks crooked to me, so I'm going to lift it and reapply it. See if I get my line straight. I think that looks good. So obviously you don't have to use, you don't have to use the entire transfer. You can use part of it. You could customize to get the look, that you want. And of course I just stuck this to itself, which is you want to be very careful when you pull it apart. If it's just stuck on the adhesive, it's okay. You're not going to distort anything. But if I had it stuck to the silk screen, I'd be running it underneath water to lift it apart. And you know what? I'm going to probably do that anyway. I won't pry it right now. Just man, to make sure that's down there nice and straight and that my bell has enough of a margin for me to fully chalk it. Okay, I think that looks good. What's in the trick or treat? The trick or treat is, ooh, I need to thin this down too. The trick or treat is, it's a real cute I can't talk. It's a really cute kit. We've been waiting for it to come in. You know, some of these things have been sitting on ships in the ocean waiting. You know, there's such a backlog and everything with just about everything. It's just total craziness. But anyway, it is a hanging banner that says trick or treat, and it's like a, I think it's like a black felt. It's really cute. Has a nice little tassel at the bottom. I mean, it's absolutely adorable, and I've got a couple different ideas in mind for it. And I thought tonight would be great because it was going to be in. And so much for that idea, right? Okay, I want to make sure I get right up there to the bottom. And I don't want to do my bow. I want to keep my bow from getting any gold paste on it. And this would have been a good application for the placement tape to make sure that I didn't go over or off my bell. I think I went right up to the, I need just a little smidge more to get right to the top of that bell. There we go. Okay. That didn't require too much paste at all, did it? I'm trying to remember what else is in the kit, and in my mind, of course, is blinking. But it is adorable. And, oh, there was another kit. I'm like, yeah, you know, or no, two different kits. There was that kit, and there was the children's kit that actually is a chalkboard that looks like a, oh, what is it called? One of those air bubbles when you talk. So it has a little hanging thing. And one side, I don't remember what both sides said, but one side is I'm sleeping, or let me sleep, or something like that. And there's this cute little character, and there's a couple of different embellishments with it and whatever. It's really cute. So I think it great for kids. Amazing how a 3-year-old could use these minis and just create. No trunk and treat. No trunk and treat for me. And honestly, the way, I don't know if I'm disconnected or not. The way COVID is here, I don't know if we're going to do trick or treat or not. We didn't last year. The numbers in this town have been high. My brother did Halloween last year in Wisconsin, and he had quite a few trick-or-treaters, but he noticed that within 2 weeks after Halloween, by mid-November, their COVID numbers were jumping. So unless things turn around with this Delta variant, it'll be a no Halloween. You know, I'd be happy leaving a bowl out there and letting the kids help themselves, but I did that once years ago when I had a migraine, and it didn't really work because the bowl disappeared about the third group of kids that came to the door. Water was out this morning. They were actually working down the block doing what they were doing, and they had mentioned that the water was going to be out between 9 and 1. They had called yesterday. So I think those little bows look perfect. I mean, the strings and the silver go great, and the bells and the shimmer gold. Deb, you finally got your shimmer gold. Turned out pretty nice. I can't get it all to fit here. Let's see, better this way. That was pretty easy and quick, wasn't it? So I'll be doing some other things with this one too. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. There's not a lot to it other than there are these stripes. So I have to kind of figure out what I'm going to do with that. And I'll probably put everything on a larger surface. And of course, put the "This House Believes," use the full word on there. I know, that's why my shimmer gold is hardened up. I must have left the cap off again and it dried out, but I could reconstitute that. I just didn't realize it. I actually have probably 2 shimmer golds around here. But I think the Shimmer Harvest looks good. Probably a little bit more bell-like than the gold. Thanks for watching. Have a nice evening. See you soon.